Okay, welcome back, everyone. It's the end of the year. The temperatures are getting cold. We're getting snow on the ground. My beard is growing in. It's that time of year. Now, I haven't posted anything in quite some time. And usually around this time of year, I do my year in review over on my journal site, and I kind of walk through all the fun things that I did over the year, and I start to talk about what I've got planned for the next year. And while I haven't put that post together yet, I have started to pencil in some ideas for next year. I thought I would share to kind of get us excited about some things to come down the line. So the first thing I would tell you is that there is no Hard Rock or Western States running this year. I did put my names in both lotteries again just to start accruing new tickets, and I did not get into either race, but I am 100% okay with that, as I think I need a break from both events. So that is the first thing to say. Now let's start with kind of the On2Feet world, kind of what I'm thinking I might do. So given that I still want to have some adventures on foot, some of the things that I've been toying with doing is that I may put my name in a lottery for a different 100-mile mountain race, one that's called the High Lonesome. It's a 100-miler that's in Colorado that happens in July that I've always wanted to run, but is also a lottery. So I think I'm going to throw my name into that lottery and see what happens. But then I'm also thinking about doing something a bit more committed, a bit longer in length. So the two things that I'm bouncing around with doing is there's a race that happens on the East Coast called the Vol State Race. And basically this race is you run across the state of Tennessee. It's 314 miles, and it's considered what's called a journey run. So it's multiple days. You know, you have a pack on, you kind of like buy your own food at gas stations and sleep in parks, and you kind of bum it. It's almost like a through hike. It's really fun. And I've done that twice. And it got really popular to the point where the race director created a second race now called the Heart of the South, and it's a different route. And so I'm thinking about maybe signing up for that event. I think that would be really fun. It's in June. It would be like 300 plus miles, just a wild adventure. So I'm thinking I might do that. But the other thing that I'm also thinking about doing is we have also a very long journey run that happens here in Arizona called the Cocodona, which is a portmanteau of Coconino and Sedona. And it's a 250-mile trail run that turns into sort of a multi-day mini through hike. And it actually ends 2 miles from my house. So it's kind of a very obvious no-brainer. Of course, the downside with that run is that it's wickedly expensive to run it. Very expensive. So I'm not sure I want to fork over the cash for that. Let's see. The other thing that I'm thinking about doing on 2 feet is as sort of a New Year's resolution to get back in shape. There's a trail series that's happening here in Arizona, which involves like 6 races. And they're all relatively short, like sort of in the 15 to 25 mile range. But they happen like every 2 weeks. And if you do them all, you get credit for kind of doing the whole series. And it's just a fun way to kind of motivate running in the winter when you don't really want to run and stay in shape. So I'm thinking about doing that as sort of a New Year's fun resolution. And then otherwise, I'm not sure. I did get asked to crew for a friend again at the Barkley Marathons, but I've turned it down just for various reasons that I'll get into in a minute. But I know that he'll be well taken care of with another crew member. So I decided I did not want to go back to Barkley this year. And I do also want to go back to Colorado at some point over the summer, even if it's just for like a long weekend, to try and at least knock out one more 14er. I've got 4 left. That's it, 4 out of 58. So I'd really just like to knock them all out before I start to get too old to be able to do them. And I've got 4 difficult ones left as well. So I really need to get in there and try to wrap those up. As far as On2Wheels, I've got lots of things bouncing around in my head, mostly 3 big ideas. So the first idea is I've been really kind of nostalgic lately for my iron butt ride, my saddle sore ride. So I'm actually thinking about trying to maybe go after the BunBurner, the 1,500-mile ride in 36 hours. And I've already got a route planned out, which I'm going to show you really quick. There it is. And I think it would be really fun. But I'm also a little worried about the Himalayan. I've got almost 11,000 miles on it. You know, it's a decent amount for a kind of a very basic bike, and even though I've taken really good care of it, I'm not sure how well that will go over for the Himalayan to ride 1,500 miles in one go, but we'll see. That is certainly one thing I'm bouncing around in my head. Of course, the other thing that I'm thinking about is just doing another moto-camping trip, either up to Utah, Colorado, or New Mexico, which might align with like volunteering at some race like Hard Rock or something, or more likely it will align with me going after a 14er. So I'll probably just do like a shorter moto-camping trip up to Colorado to try and tackle some 14ers, and maybe even like try to rig the CRF to get up there as opposed to the Himalayan, just so that I can tackle some more of the rough roads in Colorado and actually maybe do the Alpine Loop or something. So that's kind of fun. Actually, that's a really good idea, the Alpine Loop. Third thing that I'm thinking about doing is that I'm seriously thinking about riding the AZBDR. And when I looked it up and I pulled it up on Gaia, one of the things that I noticed about it is that I've already ridden a huge chunk of it. So when I did that rally ride 2 years ago with that friend of mine down in like southern Arizona, we rode on a huge portion of it and I didn't even know it. In fact, we even did what's considered one of the most expert sections, which at the time I didn't know. And I was like, this is really hard. And well, it turns out that was like one of the most expert sections on the entire BDR. So I feel much better knowing that that I managed to get through that in one piece. So I think, especially if I ride the CRF, that I might really go after that. That could be my one big moto trip, is tackling the BDR. And so that's it. Otherwise, I think I'm just going to, keep doing my local adventures, keep exploring areas around Flagstaff. Most of the roads now are closed for winter, sadly, so I can't really get out into the forest roads up here anymore, but I can still go down into Sedona and play down there. Lastly, on as far as sort of like bigger like adventures, not on foot or on two wheels, I already have all of my travel plans booked for the Total Eclipse in April, which I'm very excited about. If you saw the one in 2017, man, you will know how amazing that is to experience a total eclipse. So I'm gonna be flying into Dallas, and then from there renting a car and kind of like getting out into the middle of nowhere to find a really good viewing spot. Also, might be doing some international travel this year. It's looking like I may get to southern Spain, which I'm very excited about. Also because as part of that trip, we're planning to pop over to Morocco, and Africa is the one continent that I have not been to yet. So that will mark off my 7 continents or 8 continents, or however you want to categorize them. Africa's it. It's the only one I haven't been to yet. So I know it's kind of a technicality just popping into the top of Morocco there and exploring like Tangier or something, but that's the plan. Explore a little bit of Morocco. And then lastly, the only other big trip I've got planned for this coming year for now is a big trip back to the East Coast in May. I'm going to go up to Maine and kind of revisit some of my old stomping grounds up there. I'm going for a big science conference, but I'm going to definitely go back to Vermont and New Hampshire and probably play in the White Mountains and hike some peaks up there and just get up there and explore. That's it. Otherwise, just going to kind of keep making it up as I go along. So if there are things that you'd like to see regarding the bikes, I've got so many things that I want to do with the bikes as far as like things I'm putting on it, reviews and impressions, and just kind of like talking about the bike, what works for me, what doesn't. I know that there's a lot of people that get a lot of good information out of those videos that I put together, just kind of reflecting on my experience. So I will keep trying to do that, keep trying to get out my thoughts on my various bikes. I have no plans on buying a new bike next year. I kind of need to take a break from big purchases, but man, that new Himalayan does look pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye out for when that hits the States. Anyway, blabbing enough. Thank you so much for following along. I promise I'll have some more engaging content down the road here. But that's it for now. I guess one last thing I'll say as I part here is thank you to all of you that picked up a copy of my book, Treks to Nowhere. It's really cool to like log on and see that people are buying it. Not many. I think I've sold something like 60 copies or something ridiculous. Like it's not like, you know, a big hit on Amazon or something, but it warms my heart to know that there are people out there that are reading it and enjoying it. So I know my family loves it, and I've gotten some nice comments from some of my running friends like, wow, it's really, really fun reading about some of these adventures you've been on. So if you haven't picked it up, you know, check it out. That's it. Have great holidays. Whatever holiday you celebrate, enjoy it. I hope you get to spend time with family, and I hope you stay healthy and safe, and I will check in a little bit. I've got a few videos queued up, so take care, everyone. Be safe out there.